We will continue the exploration of temperature-dependent sex determination with the subject of when the sex is sensitive to temperature. I recall here the general pattern for most of the turtles. At low temperature, the gonad becomes testis that we see at the top right, and at higher temperature, the gonad becomes an ovary at the bottom right of the slide. Now we will search when the temperature influence sex determination during development. To determine when during development temperature influences sex. Some experiments have been done here in the European freshwater turtle Emys orbicularis by Claude Piot and Mireille Dorizzi, published in 1981. For this experiment, they put eggs, in this case at feminizing temperature, and they change during development, and the remaining of the development has been done at masculinizing temperature. Let's take the first line. The change has been done at stage 14. From stage 0 to 14, it was feminizing temperature. From 14 to the remaining of the development, it was masculinizing temperature. When you look at the results, you see that 100% of the eggs have produced males. Then the thermosensitive period is somewhere here. Next line, you see that you have also 100% of males. This part is still within the TSP, thermosensitive period of development for sex determination. Here, on the third line, you see some intersexes. So, when you have even a little incubation here at feminizing temperature, it is sufficient to give a pulse of intersexuality in the gonad, and the gonad is an ovotestis. We continue. Here we have again intersexes. This is two kinds of intersexes. So this part was enough to influence sex determination. We continue, we have more and more, and here we have a majority of females on this line. It means that this is within the TSP, but we have still some males. It means that this part is still in TSP. From this line, we have only females. It means that the TSP is entirely covered by this incubation. This incubation is at feminizing temperature, and it is the same for all. So it permits to limit the TSP between stage 16 and stage 22. There are several points that we should note here. The developmental scale is in stages, not in days, because it will be complicated to analyze the data, because sex is dependent on temperature, but incubation duration is also dependent on incubation temperature. And then the TSP is between stage 16 to 22. We continue. Another experiment, this time it goes from masculinizing temperature to feminizing temperature. I will not explain exactly the same thing. You can check the value and you will see that again the TSP is located from stage 16 to stage approximately 22. Perfect. Then we can conclude that there is a window of development, and this window of development is, is determined by experiments of shifting of temperature from male to female or reverse, and we check if some males have been produced depending on when the change has occurred. Conclusion is that there is a period of development in which individuals are sex reversed or at least some ovotestis are observed. The gonadal sex is sensitive to incubation temperature only during a window development named by Morozowski and Pio, the thermosensitive period of development for sex determination, or TSP in abbreviation. The temperature at the beginning of incubation will not influence sex determination, neither will do the temperature at the end of incubation. This is a typical conclusion, but we can discuss some points. First, we use in this experiment 30 degrees Celsius and 25 degrees Celsius. These two temperatures are not symmetrical below and above the pivotal temperature, which is 28.44 degrees Celsius for this species. You have a distance of 3.44 degrees Celsius from 25 to pivotal temperature, and you have only 1.56 degrees Celsius to go to pivotal temperature to 30 degrees Celsius. We can see also that it is more difficult to feminize than masculinize, because when you look at the fitted value of SL and SH, which are the distance between pivotal temperature to limit of TRT low and limit of TRT high, here you see that it is more difficult to feminize than masculinize. Both effects tend to give more power to masculinizing temperature. So the experiment has been done so that masculinizing temperature are more strong than feminizing temperature in this experiment. So perhaps if we use other temperatures, it will change a little bit the limits of the TSP. Also, the distinction between a testis with developed cortex or ovotestis is quite subjective, it is complicated, and the conclusions are based on very small number of eggs. Sometimes only one ovotestis was observed, and it was used to give the limits of TSP. In conclusion, in this classical view, the TSP is a period of development in which temperature can influence sex determination. The exact delimitation of the TSP is somewhat difficult because of the experiment and can be considered as not 100% sure. The limits are in unit of stages, not in days. The TSP of the turtle Caretta caretta has somewhat the same limit than the TSP of Hemilis orbicularis. We must take into account that the view described in this paper is more qualitative view than quantitative view of sex determination. We will see in the next videos that we will go toward a more dynamic, a more quantitative view of sex determination. And the TSP will be seen more dynamical than what is described here. It will be in the next video. Thanks.